So you've got a notebook, maybe a file on your laptop, just full of amazing business ideas, but you're kind of stuck on what to do next. Well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to break down the two things that are absolutely essential for any entrepreneurial journey: creativity and innovation. Let's just dive right in. You hear creativity and innovation thrown around all the time, right? But they are so much more than just buzzwords for a business class. They are the actual tools you need to take a simple thought and turn it into a real successful business. So we're going to show you what they really mean and how you can actually use them. I mean, just think about it for a second. Every app on your phone, every brand you love, every service you can't live without, all of them, every single one, started as just an idea. So how does that little spark turn into a huge fire? That's the big question we're tackling today. And here's our game plan. First, we're going to get crystal clear on the difference between creativity and innovation. Then we'll get into the practical stuff, how you can actually generate your own awesome ideas. After that, we'll look at the common roadblocks that can get in your way. And finally, we're going to bust some big myths about the whole creative process. Okay, first things first, let's lay the foundation. It is so important to get the difference between creativity and innovation. They're like a team, you know? They totally rely on each other, but they are not the same thing. So what are we talking about when we say creativity? Well, at its heart, it's all about how you see things. It's about looking at the world and seeing new possibilities where everyone else just sees, well, normal stuff. It's about finding hidden connections to create something new. That's creativity. It's that flash of insight, that mental spark. And if creativity is the spark, then innovation is the fire. Innovation is the actual process of taking that creative idea and making it real. It's turning it into something people can actually use, something valuable. It's the entire journey from that what if moment to a real product that people want. Here's probably the simplest way to put it. Creativity is thinking of new things. Innovation is doing new things. You can have 1,000 amazing ideas, but if you don't act on them, they're just thoughts. Innovation is all about the execution, the hard work of building it, testing it, and getting it out into the world. And here's why this matters so much to you. As an entrepreneur, creativity isn't just some nice little bonus skill. In a super crowded market, it's what sets you apart. It is your #1 tool for building something unique, something that can actually compete and stay ahead of the curve. Okay, so we get what creativity is, but where do we find it? Where do these big game-changing ideas actually come from? Let's move on and build a practical toolkit you can use for coming up with your own ideas. Look, great ideas almost never just pop into your head out of nowhere. It's usually an active process. Our sources point to 3 main ways you can generate really solid business ideas. So let's break them down one by one. First up, you got to do your homework. Yeah, I know, research doesn't sound super exciting, but trust me, this is where the opportunities are hiding. Dive into customer data, read reviews, find out what people are complaining about. See what your competitors are doing, and more importantly, what they aren't doing. Those gaps you find, that's where your business idea lives. The second method is all about expanding your world. Get out of your bubble. Your next big idea is probably not going to find you while you're sitting in the same room you always do. Travel if you can. Or just go to a different neighborhood. Observe how other people solve problems. Seeing new things and new perspectives is like a shortcut to sparking new connections in your brain. And finally, you have to talk to people. And listen, I don't just mean your friends who think just like you. Go to networking events, talk to people in different fields, have conversations with strangers. Every single person has a unique story and a unique set of problems. If you actually listen, you'll find a goldmine of needs just waiting for a solution. Now, coming up with ideas is one thing, but protecting those ideas from our own bad habits and fears, that's a whole other battle. We need to talk about the things that kill creativity. Think of these as the enemies of innovation that you have to learn how to fight. So, here we have 4 major mental blocks that can just crush a creative idea before it even has a chance to grow. We're talking about being slow to act, being afraid of risk, getting stuck in stereotypes, and making assumptions. Let's take a closer look at these innovation killers. First, there's procrastination, or just being too slow to act. An idea can be brilliant today and totally irrelevant 6 months from now. Speed matters. Second is that fear of risk. Look, innovation is all about uncertainty. You can't avoid risk. You have to learn to take smart, calculated ones. Third, we've got stereotypical thinking. That whole "this is how we've always done it" mindset. That is the enemy of creativity. And last, making assumptions. You can't just assume you know what people want. You have to get out there and actually ask them. All right, on to our final section. It is time for some serious myth busting. There are so many wrong ideas about creativity out there that can actually stop us from even trying. So let's clear the air and make sure you're not held back by this stuff. Here are 3 of the biggest myths you'll hear. First, that creativity is some magical talent you're either born with or you're not. That is absolutely false. It's a skill. And just like any skill, you get better with practice. Myth number 2, that you need pressure to be creative. Nope. In reality, too much stress and tight deadlines usually just shut down creative thinking. And third, the idea that intense competition sparks innovation. A little friendly rivalry can be motivating, sure, but a cutthroat atmosphere usually just leads to fear and people copying each other. So we've defined the terms, we've looked at the methods, we've identified the enemies, and we've busted the myths. Now, there's really only one question left, and this one is for you. With all this in your toolkit, where will your next great idea come from? What will you start working on tomorrow? It's out there waiting for you. Now, go find it.